Joining me this morning is Zephyr Gonahasa. He's the CEO, Water School Uganda. Good morning.
Good morning.
Water School Uganda. You people are a charity organization. What exactly do you do?
What we do, we teach people in the rural areas, especially children, how to make water safe, how to keep their homes clean, and beyond that, with a hidden message of taking responsibility for their own hygiene, their sanitation. And as a result of that, we have seen a lot of changes in the lives of children, and the people themselves have improved their quality of life. Their economic savings have been great, and at the end of the day, the program is growing at an amazing rate beyond what we dreamt.
For starters, in my preamble, I talked about the water challenge in this country, but if you could paint a picture for us, is it as bad? Because, you know, in Kampala here, oftentimes you just, open the taps and water is flowing much of the time. Well, sometimes there are issues, but there are areas in this country where there are problems. But paint a picture for us. How is it in Uganda?
The sanitation situation in Uganda is appalling. For the layperson, to avoid statistics, you look at every 7 people among the 7 people you'll meet, they don't have access to safe water. In urban areas, in the city, every person is supposed to have safe drinking water. In the rural areas, it is worse. 64% of the people in rural areas do not have access to safe drinking water. Now, that is just a tip of the iceberg. When we look at the pit latrine coverage in the rural areas, it has improved a bit. But when you think about our judges in the villages, how many of them have clean facilities? Even in this city, if you were to visit any big office or small office, you would find gaps in the kind of cleanliness, having soap for washing hands. We go for functions, and it amazes me that we can have many people of all ranges, and you will find that we wash hands in those functions, weddings, all sorts of functions. There is no soap provided. So we do hand wetting instead of hand washing.
It actually gets worse. It's interesting. Well, you'll move around this place. I'm sure you'll find that those challenges you talk about are not there. But look, we have access to Lake Victoria. I'm told it's the biggest, safe water body world over, not so? And we have a plethora of other water sources. We've got lakes, we've got, etc., etc. So why is the challenge as bad as it is? Is it that we cannot harness this water, we cannot tap into it, make use of it? What exactly is the problem? Surely Uganda should not be, if it was happening in, drier places, South Sudan and the like, that is excusable. But Uganda, it should not be.
The problem is two-pronged. One, the issue of access. Some places don't have access. You'll find in, say, northern Uganda, there are many places that you cannot drill a borehole. Now, for people in such areas, it would be very difficult, if even however much they may want, they may not be able to wash hands, they may not be able to drink water as much as they want. Now, for people around the Lake Victoria, we've talked about Lake Kyoga, there are cultural issues around how people dispose of human waste. Some actually believe that by dumping human waste in water, they are feeding fish. Beyond that, we may have water processed, say, by National Water and Sewerage Corporation. It comes right up to your tap and is safe. But from the tap to one's mouth, by the time it gets in there, it has been recontaminated by not using clean containers, not using proper drinking methods. So at the end of the day, the problem is more of understanding the importance of taking care of what we put in our bodies, the food handling in our communities, the way we cook our food, the way we take care of it, the way we get rid of what has gone through our systems, and taking care of our environment.
You talk about taking care of our environment, taking care of ourselves. I don't know. I think we have gotten to a point as a people where certain things are not that important, even though they should be rather. I don't know, we are focusing on let's go make money, run our lives around, do everything we can to keep our heads above the water. And, you know, it's incredible that we have to sit on a show like this one and teach people sanitation, wash your hands, etc., etc. Incredible, because that should not happen. But again, we need to do it because people are not doing it out there. So you're moving around schools, and when you interact with these children, is it that maybe they're not taught at home? Is it that there's total negligence? What exactly is happening?
One of the biggest challenges we have in our country is the teaching methods. People are taught to pass exams, not to apply knowledge received. And so one of the things that we do is, for the child at school, we expose them to the fact that they can make water very cheaply, without having to put in chemicals, without having to boil it, but just putting it in the sun. I see you've done it nicely. You've done a nice cut. And I know that when you go to the salon, they first sterilize the
you are saying I've done a nice cut.
Yeah, it's nice. And so what happens in the processing of water, when you go to the salon, they will put those instruments in blue light, which is UV light or ultraviolet light. Now, God has given us, people living in this country or in the tropics, the opportunity to make water safe using ultraviolet light from the sun, free of charge. If one put water in a PET bottle, these mineral water bottles, up to the volume of 2 liters, within 6 hours, technically, the water would be safe for drinking. Hey. But we teach the children.
Wait a minute, let's go slow on that. Are you telling me that I can get dirty water from whatever water source, put it in a bottle, expose it to the sun, and within you said how much time?
6 hours.
6 hours, the water is safe for drinking?
It is safe for drinking.
Really?
It has been verified independently by Ministry of Health of Uganda in Kisoro, behind our back, because they were checking us out. When they got water from the lagoon in Kisoro town, filtered it, and then they put it, they tested.
Okay, you've qualified it a little bit.
Yeah,
it was filtered first.
It was first filtered.
Using what?
Just simple filtration. They tested it, and it had too much microorganisms. It was deadly water, even after filtering. And then they exposed it to the process that I'm talking about, putting it in the sun. After 6 hours, the water was safe for drinking. They did it scientifically under different conditions. And having found that it was solid, they've given us a letter affirming that this process is appropriate. But even beyond that, World Health Organization recommends this process, which is called solar water disinfection, or SODIS in short, as one of the household water treatments that can be used for making water safe. Now, back to the schools very quickly. We know that the way we teach people by lecture does not work very well. So what we have done is to teach children using music, dance, and the drama. You know the morals we've learned from the stories of Wakaima, Ichuli, and things like that. Now, the things that have changed lives in this country, you talk about the history of the powerful changes in the level of HIV in this country going down in the 80s and the 90s. It was because people are using music, dance, and the drama.
So you're tapping into that.
So we are tapping into that, and the children do that at school, and we have had competitions at regional level. We are in Western Uganda, North, East, Central, and the children that come from there, we are even helping them to showcase their talent. In fact, today we are going to have a big do for them at Ndere Center, where they will be showcasing their talent. So beyond learning WASH, we believe that the children of this country have the right, they should be given the opportunity to share their ideas, to show the world how they can change their lives, how they can change their villages.
All right, I just needed us to get back a little bit to that point of exposing water to the sun. You know, we need to be sure we've not left people in confusion, otherwise they might think we are prevaricating. How exactly does this happen, that you put water under the sun and then it gets purified after 6 hours? Does that mean that, you know, the impurities actually sink to the bottom? Does it mean that all the water actually is safe, somehow they've evaporated? I'm just trying to understand that, and it's not coming.
What happens is that UV light has the potential
UV
to kill.
ultraviolet?
Yes, that is ultraviolet light has the potential to cut an organism to pieces. So what happens is that as the UV light, the water should be clear enough. Say if this were to be our bottle, if one can see their fingers on the other side, then the UV light should be able to go through to that level, up to a depth of 3 inches. So as the UV goes through, it cuts the organisms to pieces and kills them. I'm trying to avoid too much science in here. And some of the things that can help people understand is this. You think of our friends who are from developed countries with light skins. They must wear suntan oil to protect themselves from the different radiations, including UV light, which would get into their body cells and would cause them cancer. Now, the UV light cuts the organisms to pieces, and at the end of the day, you have protein in the water. It's like cutting me to pieces. I would be in there, but I wouldn't be the Zephyr anymore. I would be dead. So I cannot reconstitute myself.
Actually, nutrients are added to this. Are you saying that now this, could be replacement for boiling of water?
It is actually a great alternative for us. It's a great alternative, except in a few places where there are cysts, which cannot be, where the UV light may not be able to go through. But
which places are those?
You think of places like I'm thinking of the organisms. I can't remember the names. But when you have a cyst, it is like you have a shell around an organism. That shell will not be cut to pieces. But the majority of the organisms that we deal with in this country, like bacteria, viruses, retroviruses, they will be killed 100%. And that's why Ministry of Health has given us approval, and World Health Organization has approved this program, to the extent that in 2013, this program won the Impact Award for WASH for Africa and Middle East. And it didn't take a lot of pomp, a lot of technology, just putting bottles in the sun, teaching people how to do these things, and they sell what they've done. They see the impact in their lives, they tell it to their friends, and it works.
How intense should the sunlight be? Should it be too hot? I'm told it's hottest at about what, midday or thereabout, or should it be early morning, evening?
It should be. The highest intensity is between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the day. So the wise thing one would do, maybe put, I use this at home, I've already put some water out at home, and when I go back in the evening, I'll drink that water. My kids drink that water. So it works best between 9 and midday. But because we know people are not very good on the clock, we tell them, on a fine day, it should be a fine day. On a fine day, put your water in the sun for a full day. If it's a cloudy day, 2 days, because the cloud cover interferes with the amount of UV light that goes through. If it is a rainy day, don't count that day, because raindrops will refract, they deflect the UV light rays, so you will not have the effectiveness that you would want. So at the end of the day, don't count a rainy day. Fine day, 1 day. Cloudy day, 2 days. Just put your water in the bottle, put it in the sun. After that time, safe to drink. As simple as that.
Interesting. This is an awesome innovation. I've never thought of it this way. I'm sure many scientists out there. I'm not a big-time scientist. Just did 1 or 2 of those things. But tell me.
Well, we are all different.
What more do you think we should do as a country? You're trying your best. This is a good alternative. Not many people out there might be able to do this. It requires a lot of discipline. Otherwise, you take the water before it's ready for taking. But what more can we do as a country? What are the things we probably need to invest in? I know that once in a while you see government officials open a water source here and there and so on. Are we doing enough? What more should we do?
I think one of the things we need to do as a country is to believe that we can make this country better. And so as Water School, we believe in teaching other organizations. So if an organization is involved in WASH, like we are part of Uganda Water and Sanitation Network, we want to share what we know with other organizations so that they can enrich their programs. And as they visit the field and see what we do, if there are areas where we are not doing well, we should be open to learning from them. So if there are people out here or out there and they are wondering, but water school, how can we help you? We invite them to come and support us. Number one, picking this program to take it to the areas where they serve. Because by so doing, we can make this country a great place. Two, believing in the rural people's capacity. They are the experts in their situations. When we teach people and listen to their ideas, we will see wonders happening by their doing, and we'll have less effort to follow them up, and we'll spend less money. We'll invest that money in other things that can make this country better.
Incredible stuff. Keep doing your thing, keep teaching people how to wash their hands. I'm even ashamed to say that we have to teach people to wash their hands, but maybe we need to. That will lessen on the health challenges we have in this country. Thanks for talking to us this morning.
You're most welcome.
Coming up is my opinion. Uganda is greatly endowed in many, many ways. We have Lake Victoria here, we have a plethora of other lakes, and that means water should not be our challenge. But you see, when you see people, lacking water in certain areas, some dying, and actually not some, a good number of people die on an annual basis to waterborne diseases, it's challenging, it's very disturbing. We need to up our game, we need to do things a lot more. And we here in the urban areas, we are not any exculpable, if you ask me. I think things need to begin to change slowly but surely. And it's important you admit that one, you're not doing things as you should be doing them. We need to learn to wash our hands. I keep getting tingles when I say that we tell people wash your hands. Things that are supposed to be basic, so let's learn these things, and hopefully, and really hopefully, our health challenges will lessen a great deal. That will do for today's big story. Many thanks for joining us. Coming up in a bit is Everyday Life.